Welcome to the first ever episode of YNG Sparks, powered by Kids Bite. I'm Siyona Vikram, an award-winning podcaster and an award-winning environmentalist. Today we have with us a very special someone. Her Excellency Miss Licypriya Kangujam, Special Envoy for the President of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste.
Well, hi Siyona, hi everyone. My name is Licypriya Kangujam. I am 13 years old Indian climate activist and the founder of the Child Movement. As you mentioned, I'm the special envoy for the President of Timor-Leste, and I'm happy to share with you all that I'm the youngest diplomat in the history of the world to be officially working in a government. It's my honor to be here to be a part of this podcast.
Amazing, Licypriya. I am so happy to be talking to you today. So let's start off with my first question. I'm quite curious about you, especially the fact that you are history's youngest diplomat. So what is that like? What is your role?
Well, I represent Timor-Leste in various summit events, conferences, high-level sessions, panel meetings, United Nations, even government events and programs on regarding the issue of climate change and peace. Well, basically, I also advise the government of Timor-Leste on the various issues that the country is facing or the action that will be taken on regards of climate change. So I'm proud and happy to become the youngest diplomat in the history of the world to be officially working in a government.
That is something practically unbelievable. Wow. So since you're also an environmentalist and have done some commendable work in the area of environmentalism and all, what are some plans you've had to scrap that other kids could possibly take up as a first step into the world of environmental activism and sustainability?
Right. So, first of all, in July 2018, at the age of 6 years old, I attended the United Nations Disaster Conference in Mongolia. Well, I met many world leaders, great scientists, experts, policymakers, and many other inspiring people out there. And it was a life-changing event for me as a child. And then after coming back from Mongolia in July 2018, I started my own organization called the Child Movement, or you can call it as, Bachpan Andolan in Hindi, where Child Movement is a children movement, or like you can say it's a people's movement for climate justice, where we call out the world leaders to take immediate climate action now to save our planet and our future. We also do various activities, initiatives such as massive tree plantation, cleanliness drives, raising awareness to many people, women and children on regards of climate change and global warming and various other environmental issues that we are facing today. And I have this initiative called Monday for Mother Nature. Well, you see, I have planted over 350,000 trees.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, across India with my initiative called Monday for Mother Nature.
So, as somebody who works in the field of sustainability and environmentalism and have done commendable job doing this, what are some of the plans which you have had to scrap, which you think that other kids can possibly take up so that they can put their first steps into the world of environmentalism and sustainability?
Yeah, well, so far I have planted over 1.5 lakh trees, or you can say 150,000 trees across India with my initiative called Monday for Mother Nature, where children, where activists like me, youths, volunteers, plant trees, a lot of trees on every Monday, every week, with the mission to plant 1 million trees every year.
1 million. Wow.
Yes. So far we have planted 1.5 lakh trees, and I hope we achieve that goal as soon as possible. I have another project that I came up with a few years ago in 2022, which is called Plastic Money Shop. So what Plastic Money Shop does is that people come to my project, come to my initiative Plastic Money Shop, and give single-use plastic waste from their homes. And in return, they can choose between these three items: one plant sapling, 2 kg rice, or a stationary item. So as you can see, it's kind of like a barter system, isn't it?
It's like Also with very usable and versatile
Yeah,
items.
exactly.
Yeah,
So what
smart.
Plastic Money Shop does is that it collects all of those single-use plastic waste and again recycles them, or you can say upcycle them into house roof sheets, road tiles, school benches, desks, etc. And the
Hmm.
mission of this project is to eliminate every single use plastic from our planet. And it also stops the single use plastic waste from reaching our oceans, rivers, seas, landfills, etc. So, this initiative has been supported by many people across India and in the world, and has been also started up by many people across the world. So it also, while doing this initiative, it raises the awareness about the global plastic pollution crisis, isn't it? So it's
Yeah.
doing two things at once.
Wow, that is just plain smart, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, and if such initiative is done at a larger scale, then imagine the larger impact that it can have. So children,
True.
students, youth, parents, anybody can start up this kind of initiative.
Yeah, we need more people to get into like knowing what how plastic recycling works and how they can like connect with recyclers,
Mhm.
and these sort of initiatives really help, right? So, as a person who has turned the heads of millions, what are some of the challenges you face from people around you, like people from school, from maybe people from your family? Like, what were the challenges they posed?
Right. So first of all, when I started my journey, when I started my activism movement, I my parents didn't support me at all for the work that I was doing, especially my mom. Because you see, parents, they are worried about, my mom was really worried about my future, about my education. Like, is my activism going to take over it? Right?
Hmm.
So, with that kind of thoughts, she really didn't support me at all for whatever activism initiatives or works that I was doing. And then later, what happened was I promised my parents, I promised my mom that I would handle it both equally because you see, they're both equally important to me, my education and my activism. And then, yes, I did keep that promise to her. And then what happened was, I then, moved from Bhubaneswar, Odisha to New Delhi so
Hmm.
that I could protest every week in front of the Parliament House of India.
Wow.
Yeah, and at that time, it was the saddest moment of my life. It was very emotional for me because I also missed my teachers, my school friends, many other relatives who were there back in Odisha. But what can be done? It was for the sake of our planet, for our mother nature, isn't it? And I'm a
Hmm.
child who doesn't want environmental issues to keep on happening again and again, all its destruction, children losing their parents. No, I absolutely hate it. I don't want that again because of the empty false promises of our leaders. That's why I had to speak up. That's why, I'm still here doing my activism and everything. And other obstacles that I face is that the government, the people are trying to politicize my voice. Let's say like I speak up against this place, like for the coal mining that they're doing, they're like, oh no, this party has sent you for speaking up against this party, to
Damn.
try to politicize a child's voice. But no, I'm just speaking up for something that I'm against it. It's harming our nature, it's harming our environment. That's why I'm speaking up for it. Nobody's sending me to do that, and I'm even risking my own life, for instance. Yeah, and because it's just that what I want to do, because as I mentioned before, I just speak up for whatever I think is wrong. So I'm not
Hmm.
sent by some government, some other party, or anything like that, but they just do some nonsense thing by politicizing my voice. Any which ways, other problems that I face when I started my movement is, people try to, judge me for
Hmm.
my age, because like, you're too young to get involved in such activism. Leave it to us, the adults. Leave it to those government. Leave it to the world leaders. Leave it to the scientists and experts. But one question that I would like to ask them all is that, what have you done for the world? What have you done for the sake of our mother nature? If
Pretty
you had
much
done
nothing.
something for our future, for the environment, or taking care of it even a bit, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have been raising my voice or coming out on streets, protesting, doing strikes. No, I wouldn't have. But because of the outcome, I have been speaking up because I had to. I can't let that happen again and again, all the destruction, all the environmental issues. That's why I became an activist. So instead of just, judging some girl child or some other person, environmentalist child for their age or anything like that, my message is that age doesn't matter to make a difference. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a girl child who strongly believes that, every child can lead the change.
They can.
Yes, and big or small, it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
we all can make real difference. So we just need that will, that strong will and that confidence.
Yeah.
To do the real actions. Because I always say that the first step to saving our planet is to change our own behavior. And
That's
until
true.
and unless we do that, no change will be there.
After all, you do gotta be the change you want to see in the world.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So, speaking about how children need to express more, how we now feel this sort of anger, this sort of emotion and resentment towards all the damage that has been done. And you are quite an icon. And you come across quite strongly. You're making me emotional too. And one of your most impactful moments was the moment when you protested in COP28. That went viral and I saw it, and I've always wondered since I watched that, what was your thought process behind that? Because damn, that is something really, really brave for someone so young to do.
Well, you see, COP28 in United Arab Emirates in Dubai in 2024. It was a very crucial juncture that day. I was in a high-level plenary session sitting there among the audience and listening to the world leaders who were present there on the stage. And I felt this fire rising up inside me, inside my body. I felt that kind of rage, full of emotions coming into me. I was really frustrated, I must say, by hearing those words by those big people, because they were doing something else and speaking the whole other opposite of what they were doing. And COP28, as you know, it's a global platform to raise our voice and to do the real actions, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was completely a huge failure. It was a big failure at that day. And it was the last day of the event as well, of the conference. And what I did was, after feeling frustrated, I took a placard from my bag. I wrote, "End the era of fossil fuels, save our planet and our future." And then I ran up the stage and I stormed the high-level plenary session.
As you should.
Yes, I did. Because I must raise my voice. Yeah, and because of that frustration, I did. And then later, what happened was, it was extended by 2 days, the conference, COP28. And then finally, all the 193 nations who are the part of the UN came to an agreement to end the era of fossil fuels by the year of 2026, and to double by the year of 2060, and to double the clean renewable energies by the year of 2030. So yeah, that fully failure conference, COP28, became successful. And I feel like, it's the hard work of many other people as well. And the thing is, even if there are such agreements, which has finally came true, because many other climate activists were fighting for it for many, many decades, for the last many COPs, but it hadn't been done. And see, even if there is one agreement like that, the thing is, we need the urgent, immediate action. Otherwise, it's just an agreement.
Yeah.
Just an agreement for words and signatures. Nothing else.
Yep. Contracts are going to be nothing if the trees they were made from are going to be disrespected. Yeah. I'm getting goosebumps, bro. Honestly. I'd say you saved that summit, that event, right? I'd say you saved it, because had you not stormed that stage, they would have just passed it off like, hey, we can just say this for clout, say this for the cameras, and then go back to our countries and rip off the good guy mask. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the fossil fuels, why I wrote that is because you see, they are one of the biggest causes of the climate change, the global warming, carbon emissions that we're facing today, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The global climate crisis. So we must end the era of fossil fuels and replace it by the clean renewable energies. Otherwise, our planet will be still facing this climate change, this global warming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our leaders must take the urgent, immediate climate action now.
Yeah.
Instead of just, telling, of pledging the empty false promises and those speech just for some few claps. Isn't
True.
it? Hmm.
I mean, what belongs in the ground should stay in the ground, as far as I know. So, what is one person, something inspiring that keeps you going? Because we all need that, don't we?
Yeah, we do, definitely. So, one thing that keeps me going on is the love and support from the people across the globe. Without the love and support, I wouldn't be what I am today.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me keep going on and
Mm.
on
Yeah.
until I achieve my goal.
Yeah.
Because for the COP28 moment, I risked my own life. UAE, it's really strict, full of laws and regulations.
True.
You can't just protest or just barge in into a big conference, isn't it? With full of leaders sitting there. So I risked my life without even thinking any second about the consequences that I might face, and I did. So when I started my journey, I was alone, but today I have thousands of love and support across the globe. And yeah, that's what makes me keep on going, because you see, we are unstoppable. Another world is possible, and change is possible.
Change is definitely possible if we all push for it, if we all make sure that the big dogs do something about it, then
Yeah.
something will happen. 2026 is literally next year and they have goals to finish by then. So they better live up to their words. And people like you make it happen and make me get goosebumps.
I mean, all our little things can make a huge difference.
Yeah,
So we must start taking the action now, otherwise, it would be too late.
true.
Because my generation, our generation, your generation is already the victims of today's global climate crisis. And
Yeah.
I don't want my future generations to face the same consequences again because of their inaction and the empty false promises.
True. By the time we're the age of our parents, by the time the new generation comes, we have kids of our own, grandkids, there'll be nothing left for them.
There might be no future.
There'll be nothing left for them.
Yeah.
If that is all because we were too lazy to want to do something about it, and also because the last few generations didn't stop when they had to. Yeah.
And we all are still in our comfort zones, I must say. So, to the people who are listening to this episode, to this podcast, come out of your comfort zones. You must, if you don't take the actions. And just sit with all of these knowledge. I mean, many people must be hearing what we're saying, right? What you're saying, what I'm saying. They all know what is climate change. They all know what they can do. But one thing is left, which is the real action taken by them. So come out of your comfort zone and start taking the real action.
Yeah.
That's when you'll be the hero. That's when you will be making that difference.
That was a very inspiring conversation. I have learned a lot from Licypriya today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, until next time then, goodbye.
Bye bye.